Just because she's not calling you doesn't mean she's not thinking about you. A lot of men make the mistake of assuming silence equals indifference. They panic, overanalyze, and convince themselves that if she's not picking up the phone, she must have lost interest. But the reality is far different. Women are emotional beings, and when they go quiet, it's often not because they've forgotten you. Many times it's because they're processing, reflecting, or trying to sort through what they feel. Silence is not rejection, silence is space. And in that space, a woman often replays the moment she shared with you, the laughter, the way you made her feel safe, the way you looked into her eyes like she was the only woman in the world. Those experiences leave an imprint, and that imprint doesn't just disappear overnight. When she doesn't call, it's easy to think you've been erased from her life, but think about it. If someone truly had no feelings for you, why would your name still pop into their mind when they're lying in bed at night? Why would she wonder what you're doing, who you're with, or if you ever think about her? Her silence doesn't mean she doesn't care. It often means she cares more than she wants to admit. And giving you silence is her way of testing her own emotions or even testing yours. The worst thing you can do when she's not calling is to chase, to fill her silence with endless messages and calls. That's when men sabotage themselves. What she really needs is the freedom to miss you, the freedom to sit with her thoughts and feel the weight of your absence. When you stay calm, when you don't react, you actually give her the chance to realize how much she values your presence. And it's in those quiet moments late at night when she's lying awake that she replays your voice in her head and imagines your arms around her. You have to understand, women often connect emotionally in ways that aren't visible on the surface. Just because she isn't showing it outwardly doesn't mean she's not feeling it inwardly. Her silence can be filled with longing, curiosity, even desire. And the stronger the bond you built, the harder it is for her to push those thoughts away. This is why it's so important to maintain your composure. If you panic, if you try to force her to respond, you break the mystery. But if you hold steady, if you live your life with confidence, her silence becomes a magnet pulling her closer to you. So the next time you find yourself staring at your phone, wondering why she hasn't called, remember this: silence isn't the absence of thought. In many cases, it's proof that you're on her mind more than ever. And if she's thinking about you every night, trust me, eventually she'll reach out. Space is one of the most misunderstood parts of attraction. Most men don't realize that giving a woman space is not about pushing her away. It's about allowing her to feel the natural pull back toward you. When you're constantly calling, texting, or trying to fill every moment with contact, you rob her of the one thing she needs in order to truly desire you: distance. Desire doesn't grow in constant availability. Desire grows in absence. It grows when she has the time and room to wonder about you, to miss you, and to replay in her mind what it feels like to be with you. When you step back and allow space, you're actually creating an environment where her feelings have the chance to expand. If you're always in front of her, always trying to remind her of your presence, there's no room for her imagination to wander. And it's in that wandering, in that quiet space when she's alone, that she begins to think about you more. She starts to ask herself what you're doing, who you might be with, and whether or not you're thinking about her too. That curiosity is powerful. It makes her want to reach out. It makes her miss the connection you had. A man who understands the power of space communicates something deeper without words. He shows that he's secure enough not to need constant validation. He demonstrates that his life is full, that his time is valuable, and that he won't lose himself in the process of wanting someone else. And that kind of energy is magnetic. Women respect and are drawn to a man who doesn't chase after every silence, but instead uses that silence to focus on his own goals, his own passions, and his own purpose. Think about how attraction works in the beginning. Part of what makes someone so exciting is that there's a little mystery. You don't know everything about them yet. You wonder what they're doing when they're not with you. You wonder if they're thinking about you too. That curiosity fuels desire. The same dynamic applies even when you're already connected. If you remove all space, you remove all mystery. But when you allow breathing room, you give her the chance to feel that spark of curiosity again. The mistake so many men make is believing that constant pursuit equals love. In reality, constant pursuit often suffocates attraction. Love is not about pressure, it's about freedom. And when a woman feels free, free to miss you, free to think about you without being forced to respond, that's when she chooses to come closer. That's when she makes the call, sends the message, or opens the door for connection again. So instead of fearing space, embrace it. Recognize that it's not pushing her away, but pulling her closer in ways you can't see. Because when a woman has room to breathe, she'll use that space to feel. And when she feels deeply enough, she'll come back to you. What lasts in someone's heart isn't the number of times you called or how many texts you sent. It's the emotional imprint you left behind. When a woman thinks about you at night, she's not counting the words of your last conversation. She's reliving the way you made her feel. Attraction, connection, love. These are emotional experiences. And if you've ever made her feel truly seen, deeply understood, and completely valued, those feelings echo long after the moment has passed. Think about it. People don't remember every detail of what you said, but they never forget how you made them feel. If you were the man who made her laugh until her cheeks hurt, who listened to her dreams without judgment, who looked at her with presence and focus, that stays with her. That becomes a memory she holds on to when she's alone, when the lights are out and the world is quiet. That's why she thinks about you in those private moments, because your presence gave her something that touched her heart. An emotional imprint is powerful because it doesn't fade quickly. It lingers in subtle ways. Maybe she hears a song that reminds her, you smell something that takes her back to a night you shared, or walks past a place where the two of you once made a memory. In that instant, those emotions resurface, and so do you. She may not call you, but in her mind, you're alive and present because the bond you created still has weight. This is why it's so important to focus less on saying the perfect line and more on building genuine moments. Real connection isn't about clever words or rehearsed charm, it's about authenticity. When you're relaxed, when you're playful, when you listen without trying to fix everything, you give her the gift of feeling understood. That's rare. And rarity is unforgettable. She might meet other people. She might even go through periods of silence. But the emotional standard you set becomes the measuring stick against which she compares others. That's what keeps you in her thoughts long after the communication is stopped. When she's lying awake at night, those feelings play back like a movie. She remembers the warmth, the comfort, the fun, and the excitement of being around you. She replays the little details, your smile, the way you touched her hand, the calmness in your voice. These small things create a large emotional impact, and that impact is why you still hold space in her heart, even in silence. So don't underestimate the power of the emotional imprint you've made. Words can be forgotten, but feelings are remembered. And if you've left her with moments of joy, laughter, and comfort, you can trust that you're not just a passing thought. You're the thought that keeps returning when everything else grows quiet. And if those feelings stay strong enough, eventually she won't just think of you, she'll want to hear your voice again. A woman's imagination is one of the most powerful forces in attraction. When she's not calling, it doesn't mean you've disappeared from her thoughts. In fact, it's often the opposite. Late at night, when the world slows down and there are no distractions, her mind drifts back to you. She remembers the way you made her feel, and from there, her imagination takes over. She starts to wonder what you're doing, if you're thinking about her, and whether you're missing her the way she misses you. That curiosity becomes the fuel that keeps her connected to you, even in silence. Women connect emotionally through imagination more than men often realize. They don't just recall events, they replay them, magnify them, and build stories around them. If you made her laugh, she doesn't just remember the joke, she relives the laughter. If you kissed her and it made her heart race, she replays that moment in her mind, feeling as though it's happening again. And if she felt desired, safe, and understood, her imagination keeps amplifying those feelings. And this is why it's so important not to chase when she goes quiet. Because if you allow the space, her imagination does the work for you. The beauty of her imagination is that it can intensify attraction in ways direct communication cannot. When you're not there, she fills in the blanks. She creates scenarios of what life would feel like with you, what it would be like if you walked through her door, or what it would feel like to be in your arms again. Every unanswered question in her mind becomes an open door for curiosity. And curiosity, when it lingers, grows into longing. This is where most men get it wrong. They try to control the outcome by constantly reminding her of their presence. But what they don't see is that by removing all mystery, they also remove the chance for her imagination to run free. A woman who has nothing left to wonder about loses the spark of curiosity. But when you step back, when you allow her the freedom to fill in the silence with her own thoughts, you become more intriguing, not less. And here's the truth. Her imagination can make you larger than life. The moments you share together can become more meaningful in her mind than they even felt in the moment. She replays them, she romanticizes them, and she attaches emotions to them that grow stronger with time. This is why you should never doubt the impact you've made simply because she isn't calling. Just because you don't see the process doesn't mean it's not happening. So when she's lying awake at night, letting her mind wander, you're not absent. You're center stage in her imagination. And the more she lets those thoughts play out, the stronger her desire becomes to turn them into reality. And when that desire becomes too strong to ignore, she'll make the move to reach out. The biggest mistake men make when a woman isn't calling is shifting all of their energy onto her. They sit by the phone, waiting, hoping, stressing, and in that process, they forget the most important rule. Your focus should always stay on you. Women are drawn to men who live with purpose, who have their own direction, and who don't collapse emotionally when communication slows down. If your happiness depends on her text or her call, you give away your power, and that weakens the attraction. But when you stay centered in your own life, your own goals, and your own passions, you send the message that you are a man of value, a man she has to earn, and a man she can respect. When she's not calling, it's not a signal to chase, it's a signal to double down on yourself. This is the time to pour your energy into your work, your fitness, your hobbies, your friendships, and your mission. When you're busy building a life that excites you, you become magnetic. That energy of self-sufficiency and confidence is exactly what draws a woman closer. She feels it without you having to say a word. And when she senses that you're not sitting around waiting on her, she begins to wonder why. She becomes curious. She starts to think about what you're doing, who you're with, and what it is about your life that makes you so centered. The irony is that the less you focus on her absence, the more she feels your presence. A man who is constantly chasing communicates lack. A man who is patient, focused, and driven communicates abundance. And women are naturally attracted to abundance. They want to be part of the energy of a man who knows where he's going. They want to feel pulled into his world, not pressured to complete it. By keeping your focus on you, you also protect your emotional state. Instead of spiraling into insecurity, you remind yourself of your worth. You strengthen the mindset that whether she calls or not, you're still moving forward. That inner stability makes you more attractive because it shows her that your identity isn't tied to her validation. She wants a man who chooses her, not one who needs her just to feel okay. This is why your best move is to live as though the phone call doesn't matter, because in the bigger picture, it doesn't. What matters is the life you're creating, the man you're becoming, and the confidence you project by staying aligned with your path. If she's thinking about you every night, your growth and your focus only amplify her curiosity and her desire to be part of your world again. And when she feels that pull strongly enough, she won't just think about you, she'll act on it. If she's thinking about you every night, eventually she will reach out. But it's important to understand that timing and patience are part of the process. Attraction cannot be forced, and trying to manipulate her into calling or texting will never work. A woman who is genuinely interested and emotionally connected to you will take action when the feelings inside her grow too strong to ignore. That's the natural law of attraction. She will come back when her heart and mind align, not when you pressure her to. The key is to trust that her thoughts about you are real and meaningful, even if they're not immediately visible. One of the most powerful things you can do during this time is maintain your calm and confidence. When you show that you're not desperate for her attention, you demonstrate strength and self-respect. Women are instinctively drawn to men who are emotionally stable and self-assured. If she senses that you're living your life fully, that your happiness and fulfillment don't depend on her, it creates a subtle but powerful pull. She begins to see you as someone who is truly valuable, someone worth the effort to reach out to, rather than someone to chase after. Patience is also about understanding her perspective. There may be reasons she hasn't called yet. She could be processing her own emotions, managing personal challenges, or simply giving herself the space to sort out what she really wants. Instead of seeing her silence as rejection, recognize it as an opportunity for her to feel the weight of your absence. Every moment of waiting allows her to reflect, to remember the connection you shared, and to imagine what it would be like to reconnect. Her mind fills in the blanks, and the stronger her feelings for you are, the more likely she is to take action. Meanwhile, your focus should remain on living your life with purpose. Continue to invest in your personal growth, your goals, and your happiness. The energy you radiate during this time becomes magnetic. It's not about ignoring her or playing games. It's about showing that your life is full and meaningful regardless of her actions. When she sees this, it reinforces her desire to be part of that life, to experience the connection and intimacy that only you can provide. Ultimately, if she's thinking about you every night, her emotions will guide her toward you in the right time and manner. The key is to resist the urge to control the situation or to fill the silence with unnecessary contact. Trust in the bond you've built. Trust in the emotional imprint you've left. And trust that genuine feelings naturally lead to action. When she finally reaches out, it won't be because you forced it. It will be because her heart compelled her, and that is when the connection becomes even stronger.